Welcome back. This is the MJ show, and I am super excited right now because I am sitting here, as you can clearly see. You see this gentleman sitting right here beside me. He is, in my opinion, forget my opinion, the opinion of thousands of critics and millions of fans, the best goalkeeper that has ever lived. He has been the goalkeeper for my favorite football team for the longest time. They did so many incredible things, won tons and tons of trophies, and he is a living football legend, and it gives me so much pleasure, so much joy to welcome him on our show. Peter Schmeichel, thank you very, very much for agreeing to sit here and chat with me. It's such an honor because I've been a United fan since I was a kid.
How can I come after that build-up, by the way? What can I say now?
No, I mean,
I can leave. You've done it.
No. Everything I said is very heartfelt because you know that's how every United fan, I think football fans all across the world know that about you. You've been one of the greatest goalkeepers ever.
I've spent the last 2 years traveling for Manchester United as a global ambassador.
Yeah.
And I get to meet people firsthand and experience how much the football club and the players, the people at Manchester United, how much they mean into people, and how big an influence they have into the way that people live their lives. So I fully understand what you're saying. When I was a kid, I was the same. I loved the football club. English football, Manchester United, didn't have anywhere near the exposure that it has now. Because of obviously modern media,
the internet and television.
But I still love the football club, and I can't explain why, but I understand. So I'm with you on that one.
Thank you very much. So speaking of your childhood, I think that's the perfect place for us to start. I mean, growing up, did you always know that this is what you want to do, be a footballer?
I always wanted to be. I tell you what I wanted. My biggest dream was to play an FA Cup final at Wembley. At Wembley for Manchester United.
Which you did?
That was which I did, but that was my dream. This goes back to when I'm 8, 9 years of age.
Oh wow!
And every night it was a dream that I was falling asleep to. I was always thinking about that.
Incredible.
I really, really wanted it, and as I matured and got to know more about the world, I worked harder and harder and harder to achieve that.
Yeah. And goalkeeping, was that something that was also always clear that this is what you want to do?
Always.
So the first time you got onto a football pitch, you wanted to be a goalkeeper?
I didn't want to be a goalkeeper because I didn't know anything about football at the time.
Okay.
I didn't know the rule. I mean, I'd been playing football, but not organised football in a club, which I did at 9. I didn't know all the rules. I couldn't tell the goalkeeper apart from the striker. As I said back then, not a lot of football on TV.
Correct.
So not a lot to get inspiration from.
Yeah.
But I was put in goal, and it suited me, and I stayed in goal ever since.
Brilliant. So you played in Denmark for one of the biggest clubs there, but then you got the call from Manchester United. What did that mean to you when you got the call and they said that Manchester United wants you as their goalkeeper? Yeah,
well, clearly that was a very big moment for me. Of course it was. When I got the call, I was actually in a hotel in London, preparing for Denmark at Wembley against England.
Okay.
And I had a call off my agent saying that the 3 clubs has put offer in for official offers.
Wow.
It was West Ham, and it was Liverpool, and it was Manchester United.
Yeah.
But I did have a hand in that myself because this agent approached me sort of like 2 years before, and he wanted to represent me, and he said, what do you want to do? And I said, all I really want is to play for Manchester United. So he got to work, and 2 years later,
it happened.
It didn't happen. It was the first time we had an official offer. It actually didn't happen this time when I had to wait another year.
Oh wow, okay. You had to wait another year after
unfortunately,
conversations began.
Yeah, it then became a question of money, and the club that I was playing for was greedy, asked for far too much money. It was £1.2 million.
Oh, which at that point of time was insane.
At that point would have been a lot of money, but today just seems irrelevant, really.
Especially with £80 million and £100 million deals, I think. But of course, for that time, it was a lot of money.
The deal didn't happen, and I have to wait another year.
Oh wow, okay. Well, finally you did come on, and I think the club and the fans at United immediately embraced you and they loved you and...
When I first arrived, absolutely no one knew who I was.
Yeah.
I arrived at the training ground, and very sort of soon after that, we went pre-season tour, touring in Norway actually.
Okay.
And that would be the first time anyone really saw me play.
Yeah.
So and we had only just finished the season in Denmark. So
you were with Brøndby then?
I was with Brøndby, and we only just finished, and because of the weather, obviously you try to play as much as you can into the summer as well, because you can't play in the winter.
In the winter, it's too cold, yeah.
So where they would have broken up sort of like early May, I would have broken up mid-June. Okay. So pre-season training came virtually directly after. So I was in good shape.
Oh, yeah?
I played really well. Actually, I played incredibly well. And I remember sitting on the coach after a game. Yeah. And the local newspaper reporter from Manchester Evening News, a guy called David Meek, who followed Manchester United, he did that. After seeing you tonight, and now I have to speak to you. I need to know who you are. And he put a bit article in the paper, and that was the first time people sort of got aware of who I was. Very
cool. How were your years there? I mean, you spent a lot of time. I mean, the major chunk of your footballing career was with United.
Yeah, it was a fantastic time.
Lots of trophies, and your FA Cup dream came through.
Yeah, my FA Cup dream came through. Yeah, actually, in my first season, we won the Rumbelows Cup, which is at that time was a League Cup. So I did get a little taste of Wembley.
Yeah, already.
And a final with Manchester United.
Right.
But yes, at the time, it was a very intense and compact period, where, even to this day, I fail to separate certain events from certain seasons, and because you play football for most of the year. Yeah. And when you don't play for the club, if you are successful in your country, you then go into the European Championships or the World Cups.
Correct.
So breaks where you could sort of step back and reflect were few and far between. So everything was sort of mashed into one sort of
one after the other, and there were so many great things happening.
Yeah, and also we were in many ways we were pioneers as well, because when I arrived at Manchester United. Yeah. The club hadn't won a championship for 26 years. Yeah. My first year was the last year of the all first division, and then the Premier League would be the first Premier League would be my second season.
Yeah, second season.
There's a lot of new things happening in football, and we then won the first Premier League.
Yep.
So we were pioneering, if you like, the Manchester United winning ways.
Yeah.
But we had to maintain that, which wasn't easy. We had to improve and. So there was a lot of sort of, I won't say external work, but a lot of work that necessarily didn't have to be on the football pitch, but a lot in your mind, a lot of psychological work, we were pioneering diets. No one's ever thought about diets in football in England.
Wow.
And the first year that we won the Premier League, it was the first year where we actually took our diet serious, and we had a nutritionist working at the club. And
brilliant.
Certain things, so it was a very intense period, and it was difficult to separate days from each other. And it's a long time now for me, 15 years. It's now I'm beginning to appreciate. Yeah. I'm starting to sort of remembering back and being reminded of that incident, and how we won that game and this game, and also people that I played with. Yeah. A lot of them have now been retired for a certain number of years. Right. And you can have those kind of conversations. The tension's gone now. You don't, but there's always tension. Yeah. Of course there's tension for players, there's tension because people are under pressure. Correct. So you live in an environment where people really are under pressure every day. Yeah. One day this guy's in the newspapers for the wrong thing, the next day it's you, and so you always have that. Yeah. Now years has gone by, all that's gone.
Now so you can sit down, chill out, talk.
We meet up. Obviously, the club's very good at bringing in former players for their ambassadorial work. Right. So we meet up. And it's more relaxed, and we actually now enjoy talking about it, and we can enjoy those sort of kind of achievements much more now than we actually did at the time.
I have to ask you one more thing about United, which is the treble-winning year, I think, and that was your last season with United.
That was my last season, yeah.
What a way to go out! I mean,
yeah, unbelievable.
And incidentally, you captained the team in the UCL the Champions League finals. So how was that year? The last year, you knew you'd made up your mind that it's time to move on from United, and it had to be something special, and it was. So how was that?
It was a really weird year for me, that, because obviously making that decision was tough.
Yeah.
Because it was my dream. I was calling off my dream.
Yeah.
But I had to do that because I was really sort of running out of steam.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I came straight back from the World Championships, having played Brazil in the quarterfinals, then straight into qualification for Champions League. And everything was okay for best part of maybe 2.5 months because I was still really in good shape. But then my mind just blew up and I couldn't play. I made mistakes and I was starting for the first time in my whole life to doubt my ability to. I never enjoyed it. I always enjoyed every minute of everything I did in football, but I didn't enjoy it. And I ended up having a little break from football that Alex Ferguson gave me, and that did the trick for me. I came back and I was flying again, and so the 6 months running up to the end of the season was unbelievable. And obviously, we were a strong team, so.
And you barely, in the last 6 months, I think you barely lost a game in the Premier League. I think the whole season, I think United just lost 3 games, if I remember correctly, in the Premier League season. And the FA Cup semi-finals with Arsenal were ridiculously entertaining, and it went down to the last minute. You saved a penalty. Who was it? Bergkamp. Just the last minute penalty of Bergkamp. Did you know, by the way, that it was the game rested on that when you No?
No. That was the kind of game it was, you know. It was fast and furious and end to end all the time.
Yeah.
The focus you have on the game.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't include time. You don't have any sense of time.
Sense of timing,
no. But it was just the way that season was. It was whenever the team needed something, there was always someone in the team to give that.
Give it, yeah.
And I mean, I can't remember the stats in terms of how many games we lost that season. The thing that I'm focusing on is that we lost a game at Old Trafford just before Christmas to Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And it was the only game in my time at Manchester United that Sir Alex wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember why he wasn't there, but he wasn't, and we were really poor.
Okay.
And we decided after that game in the dressing room that we wouldn't embarrass ourselves like that again, and we also agreed that we wouldn't lose a game again, and we didn't.
You didn't, yeah.
So from that point until the end of the season, we never lost a game.
Brilliant. Ryan Giggs' goal towards the end of that match, and your reaction the moment after that goal, I think it's one of those iconic memories that all United fans carry, taking off his shirt, your somersault and everything. It was insane.
I think you're mixing games up.
Oh yeah, I am. Sorry. God, I'm going to cut that because your somersault was at the end of the Champions League final.
That's exactly
and Ryan Giggs' shirt was in the FA Cup final. Sorry, just mixing things up. We're going to do that line, pretend I never made that goof up, because all United fans will kill me. No, United fans are going to kill me.
Can't be edited. That's shaking stuff.
Maybe we should keep it. But yes, you know what? It's just incredible because those are the memories from that year. Yeah.
At the whole second part of that season, when the team needed something, somebody would step up and deliver that. Ryan Giggs actually scored that goal, but he also scored in the semi-final in the Champions League against Juventus.
Yeah.
And that goal was instrumental in us even having because we were 1-0 down and he scored in the last minute, so it was 1-1.
Yeah.
And we had to take that to Turin, and we were 2-0 down in 10 minutes in Turin.
Yeah.
Now, if we'd lost 1-0 and been 2-0 down, I think even we would have thought that would have been too difficult.
That 1-1 was so.
But 1-1 gave you an opportunity because 2-2 is not too difficult. Well, I'm saying not too. It sounds a bit cocky, but it's not.
Yeah.
But you can cling on to 2-2. You know.
Yeah.
You get a goal before half time. It's 2-1. Then you got 45 minutes to get the 2-2, and 2-2 will take us to the final. That's a mindset. Where if you're 1-0 down from the first leg, so you go away from home and you're 2-0 down, it really is a steep hill to climb, and
Correct.
Even I think this team would probably have thought it was too difficult. But this is what I'm saying. Roy Keane gets a yellow card in this Juventus game.
Yeah.
And for him, that semi-final becomes a final because he now knows he's suspended.
He's going to be suspended.
And suddenly he scores and runs the game. And this is the way the team was.
Yeah.
Someone stepped up, did what the team needed, and it was an unbelievable experience yet to have that you were playing in a team that had such strength. So I've just done a lot of work with Oliver Kahn, who was obviously the goalkeeper in the Bayern Munich
team, yeah.
And he was telling incredible stories about how long it took them to recover from that.
Wow.
And so many years ago, so there's no sort of they went on to win it 2 years later.
Correct.
But we did that to team. That's what we did. We killed teams off. Yeah. Teams even being 1 or 2-0 up in the last minute. Liverpool won 2-0 up. I think we got back to 2-2 in 2 minutes. We just did that.
Phenomenal.
And if you start a game, I then moved on, played for other teams, and you get to at some point you get to play in a team that plays against Manchester United.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how I played an FA Cup game at Villa Park for Aston Villa against Manchester United. And we are 2-0 up. Even at 2-0, they're going to come at some point. They're going to come at you. And you can try your hardest. You can really try your hardest. More often than not, they will turn the game around. And surely they did.
Yeah.
They turned that game around 3-2.
Wow.
And funnily enough, I have another example, which as a spectator 2 years ago, I was at Villa Park.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, Manchester United.
Yeah.
Aston Villa 2-0 up. Very lucky. But they're 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening for United. But then they get 2-1. And then I know it's going to happen. And I had my son-in-law with me in the car, with me at the ground. Yeah. So once it got to 2-2, I said to him, let's go in the car, listen to the rest on the radio, because they'll score right at the end, and then we'll never get out of here. Right? And sure enough, it happened.
It happened.
But that was a club, that is what the club could do to teams.
Incredible.
And that was incredible to be part of.
Fantastic. I got to ask you a little bit about life after football. I mean, are you enjoying being an ambassador for United and doing so many other things that you must be doing? I know you love music as well. I mean, if you've seen the videos, there are a few videos on YouTube of him playing the drums. You're a fabulous.
Are there?
There is one. I saw this video. I think there's a video which I saw in which.
How do you get them deleted?
No, but I know you love music.
Playing music is a very private thing for me.
Yeah.
I can do talks. I can stand in front of as many people as you like and talk, no problem. I grew up. Obviously, my dad was a musician, but music. I play a few instruments, but it's very private, and I like to keep that private. And I find it annoying that in Iceland, we were having a party, and somebody who was in our party was recording me singing and put it on YouTube. I find that really sort of, it's such a disruption to my privacy, and I really find it annoying because it is a private thing.
Yeah,
something I like to do in private. I don't want to play in front of anybody. I do other stuff in front of
I just saw one video in which you were playing the drums. I think this was a German show about your life. This is your life, and there was a gentleman who was.
All right.
You jammed with him on stage.
I got blindsided, yeah.
And you were just told, come and join us.
You can turn the cameras to this fella.
He's responsible, huh?
He is. I have never forgiven him. I'm
still sorry.
Well, that's my agent, right?
Yeah.
And he knows what I want to do and what I don't want to do, and he still put the show on.
Okay, so music is a private thing, but what do you feel about maybe coaching at some point of time, or teaching?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's inside of me.
Yeah.
Not coaching, more managing.
Managing, yeah. I meant.
But it's also something I really, really don't want to do. But there are ideas inside of me. I really want to see if this works and that works. This is, a long life in football.
Yeah.
You sort of build up, a catalogue of a lot of stuff, and there's an urge to put it into practice. But at the same time, I think football's gone mad in terms of how managers are being treated. I don't think that there aren't many opportunities out there where you get the opportunity to really put your ideas
and
to
build a team
club.
the way you'd want it to be, instead of having that pressure that this season you've come on, you have to win a trophy.
We see it all the time now. We see managers come in, they get 10 games. I mean, obviously David Moyes was 10 months.
Yeah.
But it's 10 months and they're not your players. You haven't had any kind of influence, and 10 months you're out because you didn't do well. But how can you do well when it's not your players, it's not your ideas? You still have to.
You've not had the time to implement.
You got to have time, and also you got to build. Every football club has to be built from within.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of football club owners have misunderstood that.
Yeah.
They think that if you throw money at it, you'll get it now. Nothing, you never get anything now. You got to build from within, and there's got to be a clear strategy that this is how it's going to happen, and this is what we work to. There's got to be a clear plan, and it takes time. It doesn't necessarily just take money. It will always take money, of course, but it takes time, and whatever you can develop, you got to develop culture as well as skills. But culture is so important. So I experienced culture. I came in when Sir Alex been at the club for 5 years, and he was. You just sort of, the culture was just starting to get there, right? So when I said that we were pioneers, we also had to pioneer proper winning culture within the club. And sort of the next player that comes in has to fall in line with that, because it's already been created. But if you start with a squad of players that doesn't win anything, how can you come in as a manager and just... So that's why I don't want to do it, because what's the point in getting 10 months not being labelled not a success because you didn't win anything? But if I get an opportunity where the owner, the chairman says, we want to do this and we have X amount a year to do that, we've got the money, and we want to hear what would you do in this, and they buy into my ideas, for sure I'll jump whatever I'm doing and I would do it.
Lovely. Have you heard about the Football League in India?
I had an opportunity to come and manage here.
Would that be something that you'd look
forward to? I mean, we're very close to close a deal.
Okay.
My problem was it was right at the beginning, at the talk, when the first sort of idea came up, which was the autumn of 13.
Okay.
It was supposed to happen in September 13.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't. And my problem was with my work schedule was to clear 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 weeks of preparation, 6 weeks of tournament play.
Correct.
So when the ISP get more...
ISL.
ISL.
Yeah.
Because right at the beginning it was called IPL, Indian Premier League. Yeah. It was going to be called that, same, so for football, but IPL, of course, is something else.
Cricket.
It's a cricket, but it could be IPL football.
For football, yeah.
But anyway, then we'll have to see again. But I would have loved to have done that, because it would be an opportunity just to test it out, just see what it was like.
And it's not as long a season as maybe a club in Europe. So you get
what I would gain from that was I would gain a little bit of practice of actually coaching.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Because it's not that long a season, it gives you a chance to try out things.
I would say my vision for myself, if I ever went into that part of football, was not to be a coach. I think there might be like 200 or 300 million better coaches out there than me, but I can manage. And that's what I wanted to do. But it was, for me, it would to have a little sniff, a little feel around what it was like, and maybe to gain a little bit of experience. So we see what happens next time.
Okay, quickly about your son. How does it feel that he's following in your footsteps, literally, and he is playing football? Yeah,
I mean, it to be honest, it doesn't have any value for me that he follows in my footsteps.
Okay.
What really has value is that he's doing what he wants to do, and he's doing it for himself.
And he's loving it too.
And he's loving it. He's doing well. Yeah. And for me, he could have done anything in life. I mean, I would never ever tell him what to do, but it's important for me that he's doing what he wants to do, and he's happy doing it. and that has, mountains of value for me. And therefore, of course, I'm very, very proud that he's doing what he's doing well.
Okay.
And he is doing it really well.
Quick thoughts about the current Manchester United team. Are you happy with what's happening this season at United?
I think I'm much happier this season than I was last season.
For sure.
I was really disappointed with the whole club last season. Everybody. I thought everybody knew Sir Alex was going to leave at some point. I thought the club was ill prepared.
Yeah.
I thought that David Moyes never ever got a real opportunity to
showcase his talents, I guess. Yeah.
I think he was dropped in the deep end. It's far too many issues that was unresolved before he came. And I thought he did well in giving his best.
Yeah.
And I was sad to see him go. I would have been sad to see anyone go after 10 months.
Yeah.
I really truly, and I touched on that before.
Yeah.
I really truly believe that you need to have a proper opportunity. If you're put in charge of anything, really have a proper opportunity.
Yeah. Do you think Van Gaal is going to get that?
So finishing 7th was very, very bad. I think it was very bad for Manchester United. But then the way I work is, the way my mind works is always to find light and positive things even in the worst situation. And I think having finished 7th, I think everybody who loves the football club will appreciate the next win more, because I think we've gotten to a point, 20 Premier Leagues and 13 wins, where we just expect the club to win, and if we don't win, we're negative about it.
Yeah.
That's bad, because you can't win every year. I mean, you got fierce competition from a lot of clubs.
Correct.
So by finishing 7th and really having such a bad season, it's made everybody think and rethink themselves, even as supporters, the club, everybody.
Yeah.
And we will appreciate winning more next time. And I think what last season's done to the football club is that we will be happy if we finish as 4th this season.
Yeah.
And
I
just
mean,
get
as long
to
as
the Premier League, the
Champions League stage.
And I think that's a massive step in the right direction if we can do that, because the competition is fierce.
Yeah.
Having lost 7 games at Old Trafford, we've left it open for everyone to come and try and win at Old Trafford.
Correct.
It took the best part of 20 years to be absolutely clinical at Old Trafford. No one comes here. This is our home.
Yeah, it's our fortress. Yeah.
And within one season, seven defeats
losses,
is a lot, and that's something that needs to be repaired.
Yeah.
And can we do that by qualifying for the Champions League? I think that's a big step in the right direction.
And we've got some great players. We've got a good manager now.
No, we've got the manager, which I think is very important for a club like Manchester United at the situation that the club is in now, is for someone who believes that he's bigger than everybody, bigger than the club, who don't care about criticism, just wants to go his way, and his way is the only way. And whoever wants to follow me will get an opportunity. And whoever don't want it, you can leave. And I think that's important now, because what the club really needs is direction.
Yeah, he's a strong leader. Yeah.
He's giving a direction. Is it the right direction for the football club? I think only time can tell.
Yeah.
But he's brought in some exciting players, which I think is important. Manchester United always have and always have had exciting players. And it's 75,000 at Old Trafford. They come to see the George Best, the Ryan Giggs, the Cantoners. Players like that, the Ronaldos. So he's brought in players like Di Maria who will excite the crowds. He needs to work on the back four, and
once that happens, I think it'll be a lot stronger team.
I know. I'm pretty sure that he's aware of all that. And I'm not going to put more pressure on him for that, but. It's obvious that we concede far too many goals.
That's true. Well, that pretty much brings it to the end of the big questionnaire, but some last few quick questions, just one word answers, whatever comes to your mind. What's some music that you're listening to right now?
Mumbai Blues.
All right, I can't believe I got him to say that. I'm going to give him the album, but he's going to listen to it. Yay! All right. Favorite footballer today?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Best goalkeeper in the world right now?
Neuer.
Have you seen a Bollywood film?
I have to. If this can't be one word. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I watched 2 on the flight down here, but actually I didn't watch it. It was a guy in front of me watching, and I was mesmerized. I watched him without any sound, and it was it just. So on the way back, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna.
You're gonna watch one with sound on.
I'm gonna watch one of them. Yeah.
All right. Favorite movie that you've seen recently in the last few months, or in the last 1 year? All right.
I think the most brilliantly made film I've seen for a long time is The Untouchables, the French film.
Yeah.
And I've watched it about 5 times now.
Wow. Okay. Check it out. Recommendation from Peter Schmeichel. Best Manchester United teammate that you played with? Someone you really, really love. I mean, I know there were so many incredible players.
I think it's, I probably would always answer this question with Cantona, because Cantona came in, changed a lot of things, and
yeah,
he nudged just in the right direction.
Well, he was the man, yeah. One player you would have loved to play with when you were playing, but you didn't get a chance to. I mean, in your team, somebody whom you would have loved to have
in my team.
Yeah, one player. I mean, from
Ronaldo.
that time. Ronaldo.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. Most important penalty you ever saved, in your mind?
I've got 2.
Okay, 2.
One is obviously the one,
Arsenal,
yeah, but the other one was Van Basten in the European Championships.
Oh wow!
Shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And last, favorite goal scored. I'm saying scored because he scored 11 goals. Yes, he's the goalkeeper. He scored 11 goals.
Oh, I scored.
Yeah.
Favorite goal.
Yeah. Do you remember one goal that you thought, wow?
I scored 1 goal for Manchester United. That's got to be my favorite. And what it did was, we got knocked out of Europe anyway.
Yeah.
So we played a Russian team called Rosa Volgograd.
Okay.
And we drew 0-0 away from home, thinking this is an easy get through. But we got a bit of a shock because we were 2-1 down with time gone. Okay. We had a corner kick. I went up, scored 2-2. But what that goal did was it saved the record that Manchester United has never been beaten in Europe at Old Trafford.
Oh, wow.
So that was important in a way.
Nice.
Only for next time we played in Europe at Old Trafford, it was against Fenerbahce in the Champions League group stage. We lost. So, yeah, I saved that record for another couple of months.
I'm just so happy that I could have you on the show, and it's just been such a great honor to sit with, I think, one of the greatest legends of my favorite football club, Manchester United. I say it nice and proud, and I got him to sign this for me. Speaking of having things signed, you see this ball that I've kept in front. It's signed by Peter Schmeichel, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to win it on the show. You got to find out how you can do that by following me on Twitter, and I'll tell you a very simple contest that we have, like we have every week, and you're going to get a chance to win this ball that's signed by him. He's also on Twitter. Your Twitter handle is @PeterSchmeichel.
My Twitter handle is pschmeichel1.
pschmeichel1.
At pschmeichel1.
At pschmeichel1. I'm going to tweet right now with a photo from this from the show. So please follow him, and you'll get to know a lot more about whatever he's doing. My Twitter handle is @MihirJoshiMusic. Subscribe to the channel, like, share the video, let people know about this. And Manchester United fans, please share it with every other Manchester United fan you know. It's been such an incredible honor having you on the show. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
This is Peter Schmeichel. I'm Mihir Joshi, and it's time for me to say good night and take care.